Hey guys, Jonathan here, and I was just at San Diego Comic-Con recently where I got to see the new LEGO Batman Arkham Asylum modular that comes out in September for $300. They had the entire thing built and on display, so let's wind it back to San Diego Comic-Con and I'll give you my thoughts on it as we look over the footage from the booth. So here it is, the first ever LEGO DC modular. It drops on September 9th, 2025 for $300, and it comes with tons of minifigs, and there's just so much to break down here. Now, of course, this footage is from Duckbrick's channel. When we go to Comic-Cons and events and things like that, we always pool our footage, and then we share it at the end, so you'll see me making an absolutely amazed face here in just a moment. But focusing in on the set, man, this is so exciting. There's Easter eggs galore. There's so much exciting stuff going on here. And with it being our first ever LEGO DC modular, there's a lot to unpack. Of course, it is a corner building, which kind of limits where it can fit into your LEGO modular city if you're trying to build that sort of thing. If you're not, and you just want this one set on its own, then that's really a non-starter. That being said, if you look at the construction of it being a corner building, when it turns the whole way around again, you'll notice there's kind of a decent amount of empty space in that back corner there, meaning that I'm curious what the inside of the building is going to look like. Like, is it going to be kind of cramped on the inside? Is it going to be detailed? Of course, we've seen digital render images of the inside, but as we know, those are not always 100% accurate in terms of, like, scale and scope, so I never want to judge something until I can see it for myself, which of course I got to see this for myself at San Diego Comic-Con, so I can at least talk about the outside and the way that that hits. Now, the Arkham Asylum van to the side is a really cool addition. You'll notice that the number on top is a reference to the original Arkham Asylum set from 2007, but overall, we get so many minifigs here. A big talking point, of course, is that many of those minifigs are the Arkham inmates in their orange jumpsuits, so really the only thing new on a lot of them is the head and sometimes the hat or hairpiece, but it is nice to get inclusions like the Riddler, Poison Ivy, and other characters who actually have not had LEGO representation for a long time, and to get new versions of them. Now, nothing's specifically jumping out like, oh my god, this is from this exact comic issue, other than like the Bat family and things like that, but it is really cool to see the entire build on display here. Now, as it spins around, you'll see there are tons of Easter eggs, like the I Believe in Harvey Dent poster, although Two-Face doesn't come in this set, which makes me sad because he's my favorite DC character, let alone Batman villain. But then, of course, we also have Metropolis being advertised, and there's just so much going on here. So we'll go ahead and focus on the good for a minute here. I think that what we get here definitely looks like it's worth $300. With all of these pieces, the piece count is right on place for where you'd want it to be, 2,953 pieces, $300 for a new set with tons of licensed minifigs. I don't think anybody can argue with that. There's 16 minifigs total, by the way. So that works out great for me. Love that. The one thing I will say is bad is going back to what we were talking about the inside potentially being cramped. I'm not saying it's cramped. I'm saying until we are able to lift off the roof and look at the inside, it's hard to say, but I really hope the inside does feel a little bit bigger than it might present like it might look on the outside. That would definitely be a good thing. I will say, as far as DC modulars go, I think that this is the perfect one to do a first one with, because of course there's no guarantee we'll ever get another one, but let's just assume that this is like Marvel and it's going to kick off a trend where we might get more. This is the perfect price point to include a ton of Batman villains, a ton of Bat family members, and make it a super exciting build and give us something that LEGO really hasn't given us in large-scale form since the LEGO Batman movie, which will be 8 years ago by the time this set comes out. So a lot of LEGO fans that have started collecting since the boom in 2020 haven't had an opportunity to go into a LEGO store and buy an Arkham Asylum, so that makes this a really cool opportunity there. But, you know, there are other DC locations that I don't think would have made as much sense as this as a first one. I will say, something from Metropolis like the Daily Planet this year would have been cool, like loosely tie it in with the Superman movie, but my thought is that LEGO was probably a little bit nervous that the Superman movie wouldn't do well, so they wanted to see how well it would do. and, God only knows if we'll ever get any more DC modulars. Hopefully this one sells well enough that LEGO has confidence to do more. But as of right now, I'm really excited with what we've got here. I think it looks great. I do think it's one of those instant day one purchase kind of things, but I'm curious what you guys think. So let me know in the comments, and if you have any questions on this, of course, once I'm able to review it, I'd love to come back to this video and see what questions you guys might have. So let me know that too, and what your impressions of this set are. Now, while it's technically not San Diego Comic-Con footage, while we're here, let's break down the minifigures and what's included here. There are 2 repeat minifigs, which is pretty wild. Those are Batman up in the top left there. Of course, he uses that same torso from the 4+ set, and Mr. Freeze, who also came in the 4+ set, and oddly enough is based off of a design from a Hot Wheels car. Anyway, zooming back out to everybody else, this set is absolutely phenomenal. Now, of course, all the members of the Bat family are brand new and first-timers. The, just detail is absolutely amazing. Robin having a double-sided cape, because in the set we see it's black on the other side. Here it's yellow on the inside. Getting Batwoman for the first time, I think, since 2018 or 19, if I'm not mistaken. A brand new Catwoman that looks great. I mean, just everybody looks awesome. Now, moving down, again, there is a little bit of a point of contention that so many of the minifigures are in their Arkham jumpsuits, but at the same time, this is Arkham Asylum. We need to have some level of, villains in their Arkham suits. So that, it does make sense to me. I get it. How cool would it have been, though, that if they would have included their regular outfits, too, and you could change them in and out of their outfits? Now, that would be awesome. But still, I think everybody here looks pretty good. I would say probably the most disappointing to me is Killer Croc, just because, he literally only has one new piece, and it's a head. And I feel like Killer Croc, not only should he probably be bigger than everybody, but he should also probably not have, like, an inmate torso on. Like, even if they had just given him the pants of the inmate suit and a unique torso, that would have been cool. And even if they reused the torso from Lizard from Spider-Man No Way Home, that wouldn't have bothered me. Of course, Poison Ivy, I think, steals the show here on first impression. She looks absolutely awesome, and the Riddler looks really great, too. I'm excited to, get him in hand and see, like, all the printing on that torso and maybe even the back, too. Then, of course, we have 2 Arkham security guards that just use, like, generic torsos and heads and all that, but it's definitely good to get those. Overall, I think the minifigs included here are absolutely awesome, and I definitely am glad we got so many here. Of course, like I said earlier, I would have loved to have gotten Two-Face. Honestly, I probably would have rather had Two-Face than Killer Croc, all things considered, with, like, him being in an inmate jumpsuit and all. But overall, I'm very, very happy with what we got here, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, too. Alright, guys, well, let me know if you plan on getting this set when it comes out in September. I definitely think it looks cool, and I can't wait to get it built myself so I can give you my full review, Easter egg breakdown, and, of course, minifigure upgrade. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys on the next video.